Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is SASS, and today we are discussing the Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon version 1.04 patch notes. Right, a new update is out for Tainted Grail, and I'm super excited about this one. The team over at Questline has been doing a great job updating things, fixing bugs, and patching a lot of the quest blocking stuff that we started to see at the first 1.0 release. Ever so slowly, they've been working their way through and cleaning things up. They've also got some more content coming in August, an extension to Act 3, and of course they've also got plans to add in a modding system as well, which is expected within the next month or so here. So all things go well, we should see some really cool mods coming to the game, as well as some new content, and in the future a possibility for a new game plus. Well, if you haven't yet, make sure that you hop over into the Discord. Also subscribe to us on YouTube. We're trying to hit 500 subscribers before the end of the year. If you haven't yet, follow over on Twitch as well as kick.com. We are starting to stream over there also. And if you'd like to follow along, the patch notes will be linked down in the description below. You can click on that and check them out for yourself. Without further ado, let's dive on in and let's see what's changed. All right, here we are. Patch 1.04 for Tainted Grail, the Fall of Avalon. It's just been rolled out on Steam. Let's take a look at what we've got here for the gameplay changes. I've allowed using stashed items in the blacksmith table, which is a really nice change. Of course, as you guys probably know already, when you're cooking or doing alchemy, that kind of thing, you can use any of the materials and stuff that you have inside your stash chest. So now we can do the same with the blacksmith table. So nice change. I was pretty sure that we were always able to do this, but it's very possible maybe I'm just imagining things and I just always had materials on me maybe. Yeah, this is a nice change if that is the case. So it just makes crafting and upgrading that much easier to deal with. I've also added the tier 5 and tier 4 weapons to the possible loot from higher tier unidentified items. As you know, when you are sitting at your campfire and you collect some unidentified items while fighting at night, you can find some pretty cool stuff by identifying those items using your cobwebs. So now you're able to identify even higher tier stuff. So you should be able to find some really cool weapons and whatnot in the possible loot tier. Dual wielding spells no longer unlock mana regen while channeling and casting simultaneously. So this was a little bit of a bug that I saw from some people. You could basically use a channeled spell on one hand and then a cast spell on the other, and the second you would start casting, your mana regen would activate, even though you were still using your channel spell on the other hand. So they fixed that now, so when you are using a channeling spell, it is always reducing your mana. So no way to get unlimited mana doing that. So they reworked the fishing balance. If you find it difficult to catch some fish, we recommend looking for better fishing rods. So they've added some new fishing rods and stuff in the last update, a bunch of different tiers to them. Also adjusted how the fishing minigame works, so you should be able to catch some pretty cool fish. They've also added 29 new fish and updated the corresponding achievements. So there's an achievement to catch all of the fish in Avalon. So that's a nice little addition there. Added a bunch of new stuff. And they've also updated the fishing spots across all of Avalon. Remember that some fish only appear at certain times or in bodies of water. So depending on where you're at and what time you are fishing at, certain fish will appear or disappear from those sections of water. So you'll have to travel around and try your hand at fishing in all different rivers and streams and out on the oceans. So really cool there. The fishing minigame is actually really nice. I've been really having a lot of fun with it. They did a pretty good job with that one. Nice to see that they are still giving some updates and adding some new content for that. They fixed the following talents: Fury without fatigue, Shield Bearer, and Mighty Blows. A few of these had some weird bugs and stuff in there. Mighty Blows, I know for sure, was like, I believe it was draining way too much stamina. So they've adjusted a few of those talents, so they should be working properly now. Lunge attacks will no longer trigger while walking with a high movement speed multiplier. So this was actually a funny little bug that I started seeing. People who were upgrading their movement speed to a certain point to where you were walking as fast as you were running, and then lunge was actually based on how fast you were moving rather than whether you were walking or sprinting. So now that they've adjusted that, you won't be able to just walk lunge as much as you want to. So this little change. This also helps as well when you're fighting in combat. If you're moving too quickly and then you're trying to do just like a basic slash or something or respond after a parry, your character would be lunging forward constantly. So a nice little fix there by changing that around. 2 weird spirits joined the combat encounter in the Ghost Realm. They've added a few new weird spirits into Ghost Realm. I haven't got there yet, but I hear it is a pretty cool little area. So nice to see they're adding some more stuff into the later game. They rebalanced the cook and alchemist shops in the castle and Horns of the South. So you should see some more balanced items stuff for sale there in those shops. So I'll be probably checking those out tonight when I hop on for the live stream. Play some more, especially the alchemist shop. I'm always looking for new materials for my potions and whatnot. And they fixed the severing ray damage calculation. Severing ray, I believe, was pushing far too much damage calculation, and you could pretty much just melt anything that jumped in front of you. So good to see that they've gone and adjusted that. Hopefully that's all fixed now. And they've replaced Thunder Lash spell with Thunder Strike in Horns of the South Stronghold. So this was actually Thunder Strike, I believe, was in 0.9, and then when it jumped over into 1.0, for some reason Thunder Lash ended up being the spell there. So nice to see that they bumped it back to Thunder Strike. A lot of people really enjoyed Thunder Strike as a spell, so good change there. And they've added Githa's shop in Volker Village and fixed her dialogue. So another little shopkeep there in the Unok Village. Overall, some pretty good changes here for the gameplay changes. Just a couple little additions. Obviously the fishing getting upgraded, a little bit of fixes with some talents and stuff. Added in a few new things to some shops and the combat encounters. Nice little changes. Of course, guys over at Questline are doing a really good job of just ever so slowly upgrading the game, updating, and just making things run a little bit smoother. So right, next up we have the quest updates. If you would like to avoid any spoilers, any quest spoilers and stuff like that, please skip to the timestamp that you will see above. Also have a timestamp in the description, so you can click on that and it'll jump you ahead past all of the spoilers. So if you don't want to get spoiled by any of the story stuff, definitely click on that, and hopefully there isn't anything in here that's going to give too much away. But all right, here we go. Quest updates. Anselm, Maggot, and Yvain should return to their interiors if they have disappeared for you. So I know there was a bit of an issue with some of the NPCs appearing for a certain amount of time. Once you spoke to them, they would then basically go off on their own little walkthrough where they're supposed to kind of circle around and go from house to place. And yeah, apparently people were just completely disappearing. You know, they were going off on a little hiatus. So good to see they fixed those. They fixed the blocker in the Vrel dialogue when finishing the temptation quest while having already finished the next objective. So there's a couple of the quests that, depending on how you complete them, you could possibly complete certain sections of a quest. Like say you're meant to go and find a specific item, but if you've already traveled to that certain location and collected the item, sometimes it would cause some discrepancies and some issues in the quest tracking. So nice to see that they've gone and fixed that one. So if you're having some issues with the temptation quest, that is now fixed. A carnation to remember won't fail if it's already completed. This is a really interesting quest. I won't go into it too much, but depending on how you decide to complete this one, certain dialogues and stuff will be available based on another quest that you're working on. So for some reason, when you would complete that other quest, a carnation to remember would show up in the quest log as having been failed, when technically you actually completed the quest, just not in the way that it would normally have been done. So nice little fix there. I fixed incorrect descriptions of some quest items. So I did notice this. There was a few of the quest items that just had like weird descriptions in them and didn't really make a whole lot of sense. So obviously a little bit of back end stuff that probably referenced the wrong code or something like that. So let's see, they fixed that. The incorrectly failed objective in Quest the Price of Healing is now fixed. So don't think I've done this quest yet, but nice to see that they've gone and adjusted that. Interesting. So it must have been obviously another one of those quests, which most of the quests in Tainted Grail are kind of like a choose your own adventure thing, where there's multiple different ways that you can complete a quest. Depending on how you complete it, you either, obviously complete the quest and it shows up on your completed, or you fail an objective or something and it shows up in the failed quests. So it just kind of depends on which way you're going with it. They fixed pup being freed by save and load. So this is a funny instance where you could basically just save the game and then load it again, and characters that normally should be like locked up inside of a cage or something along those lines would all of a sudden be free, and then that would just kind of break your quest line. So kind of hard to free somebody who's not been taken prisoner. So nice to see that they've adjusted that. Orleth should take your package even when you request a reward. So this is the trader quest that you get right at the beginning for Horns of the South. You talk to Orleth, the trader that's there at the front gate, and she'll have a couple little quests and stuff for you to go on. There's a certain package that you have to bring back to her. For some reason, when you would complete the quest and ask to be paid for it, she would not actually take the package off of you, and you'd be stuck with this random quest item that's just kind of like hanging around in your inventory. So nice to see that they fixed that little bug. Obviously it doesn't affect the quest in any way. You just end up with an extra quest item that you can't really get rid of. The dialogue option about reward from this is the part where you run away should be visible but blocked even without the proof. Right, so I'm assuming that you were able to click on that even though you didn't have the proof to gain that reward. Interesting. In the quest Sweet Dreams, they've fixed the loading of autosave in Sympathy and Trickster Realm, breaking a dialogue trigger. Fixed loading of autosave in the Sympathy and Trickster Realm, breaking dialogue trigger. Oh, okay. So you reload. Oh, I see. When you're loading an autosave, it would break the dialogues. Obviously, that would screw up the completion of the quest line. So a cave between Kunok's Gardens and the plains will now correctly become accessible as you progress the Children of Morrigan quest line. Before that, it will be blocked by a rock. I don't think I've done Children of Morrigan yet. The price of healing quest and Niante and Yvain funding interactions improved. Okay, so just making it a little bit more obvious as to like who you can support on that. Ingvi's dialogue shouldn't block the hero. It shouldn't, so that sounds like they've attempted a fix for that one, but no guarantees that that is completely repaired. Wayward Son quest forces the hero to look at the outcomes. The logic won't break. Wayward Son, which one is that? I remember a lot of these quest saves. I've played so many in Horns of the South, but I haven't gotten into Kunok yet, so I'm not sure. Might not have completed that one yet. The construct dialogue can now be triggered when a weapon is equipped. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is something that actually I think I was watching. I was watching Sergeant Kelvin the other night, and he was trying to talk to the construct, and the guy just didn't want to speak to him, but he had his weapon out. So I think that was one of those like it's thinking that you're an enemy even though you're not an enemy situation. So hopefully that is all fixed now. Right, so some nice little updates there to the quests and whatnot. Obviously some fixes for some quest blocking and that kind of thing, a little bit of dialogue updates. So they've been doing a really good job of obviously the community reporting a lot of these bugs that they're finding, and they're cleaning them up really, really quickly. Almost every week they've had a new update for us. So it's really great to see that they are just continuously working on each of those little quests and any bugs and stuff that pop up. So hopefully this continues into the future. They've been working really, really hard, and I'm really impressed with how quickly they've been on top of things. So of course, if you guys are finding anything, any bugs or any issues like that that you haven't seen come up in the patch notes, make sure you hop over into their Discord or jump onto the Steam page. There is a bugs and bug fixes page that you can click on there and then report a bug through there. I'm not sure if they've managed to fix the bug reporting for in-game yet. I know that they had it limited to a certain amount of bug reports because there were so many coming in. So hopefully that's working properly now. But if not, Discord is obviously the best place to do it. Because a lot of the time you can have a chat with one of the developers and they can get some more information off you. Find out why this is happening, what you were doing when it happened, that kind of thing. So, all right, so that's the end of the quests updates there. So if you are skipped ahead, welcome back. Welcome back. We're going to be scrolling ahead here now to the technical changes that we've seen. And first up, we have a critical technical change. Returning to Kunakt and a couple dungeons after a long time shouldn't break scene loading. So this is something that I saw reported quite often in the Discord, was you would return from Kunakt to the Horns of the South, mess around there, and then go back into Kunakt again. And there was a few of the scenes and stuff like that. So obviously you'd try to load into a certain dungeon or something, and the game would just continuously load for long periods of time. Same issue with traveling from Horns of the South back into Kunakt. There was just like the odd time you would have those unlimited loading screens. So nice to see that they've found that bug and managed to squash it. And this is a Steam specific technical update. Fixed a possible corruption of the Steam cloud files if the game crashed or the PC crashed during a cloud update. That is a huge fix. Hopefully not too many people had that happen to them where they lost their save files because of that. That's a big ouch, especially being that it's Steam cloud files. Like, you don't really have any backups. Obviously, you know, a new game like this, it's kind of tough. You're gonna have some bugs and stuff like that here and there, but definitely issues like this are something that you need to clean up right away. So good to see that they've jumped on that and managed to find the issue for that. No more free money. So this is something that yeah, selling items during sorting won't make you rich anymore. This also fixes the item duplication glitch. If you really want infinite of certain items, you can always look at mods such as unlocking the debug console. So this is something that I saw a lot of people were using this, where you'd use the sort function as you would sell an item, and then of course that would basically duplicate the items. So some of them would stay in the sold items, and then some of them would stay in your inventory. So that is now fixed. You cannot super duplicate until you have an unlimited amount of gold, which I think is good anyways. The game is kind of balanced around weapon updates and things like that based on how much gold you have. And then obviously you have your tradesman stats as well. Depending on how high your stats are for practicality, that will give you a certain percentage amount of payment depending on what the item is. So talent effects should update correctly after changing player perspective. Some of them didn't. Oh, interesting. And I use perspective change quite often, especially when I'm just traveling around and stuff, because I really like my character. I think they've done a really good job with the character creation side of things. It's a lot of fun. That's good update right there. NPC audio should now follow its body when in ragdoll instead of playing in place of death, etc. Okay. You have invisible people talking, so I'm guessing that this is like for the screams and stuff like that. Sometimes you like knock a guy off a cliff or whatever, and you know, sound like they were standing right next to you yelling in your ear. So good little audio effects there. Fixed an issue with being stuck in the crouch state after fast traveling from a fireplace. Oh, interesting. Okay. I haven't run into that bug myself personally, but yeah, good fix. I definitely don't want to be crab walking around everywhere. Fixed an incorrect refresh of the selected list item after sorting when using a gamepad PC. Okay. So this is obviously a console specific fix, but if you're also using a gamepad on Steam or on the PC version, then that should be fixed for you now. Fixed an edge case bugs in the rain system. Okay. Fixed small memory leaks generated by the rain system. You know, weather systems are always tricky. Definitely hard to pin down. So nice to see that they've managed to clean that up. Fixed a performance issue when using two-handed weapons with the AoE crushing blow talent. Ooh, nice. Maybe that'll be a little bit less choppy when I'm slapping people around. So sometimes that big explosion thing, it really drops your frames. So really good fix there. Fixed some minor bugs that appeared when using the Thunderous Greatbow. Okay, that's obviously one of the unique items specifically. Fixed missing starting furniture after purchasing only the Kunakt home. I haven't gotten into Kunok yet, but we'll definitely have to keep an eye out for that and see if that bug returns at all. And Svane's village's overall stability has been increased. Oh, good. Good. Obviously, optimization and stuff like that is a major key, especially for this one. The game plays fairly well if you're playing on, you know, like medium to low settings. I haven't had too many issues personally, but I know a lot of people running their like 4090 cards and stuff like that have had some optimization problems. So hopefully a lot of these little tweaks and stuff are going to help fix that. So some good technical fixes. I fixed a bunch of really major bugs, especially ones that were causing those like unlimited loading screens and things like that. So good little tweaks. Love to see it. All right, next up we have the graphics updates. They've improved the color correction of the spawn to be a VFX, optimized texture size in the rock VFX for better performance. Very good. More optimization. Improved fire visuals and distortion effects in the prologue weirdness. Removed transition flickering during fast travel. Okay. Did notice that one. That's kind of an odd one. Fixed Ulfer guards displaying incorrect clan tattoos. Viragi's mother's placeholder model was replaced with a monster form. Okay. Don't know who the Viragi is. Your hand should now be visible when placing the bonfire. That's a funny one. It's just like nice update, but does it really matter? It's not that immersion breaking. Weird deers from the Stagfather's trial are now spawning and despawning with a proper dissolve effect. Okay. Fixed female armor piece not displaying for the battle mage tunic. Added new icons for several summoning spells. That's cool. You can kind of figure out which ones are which. Changed the appearance of Deathhound Guardians and Blood Abomination summons. Oh, very interesting. And dressed up a dead body on the plains of Kunok. Improved VFX for Arthur's initial appearance in the Resurrection Room. Very nice. And they added the Thud tattoos to Frail. A couple little graphic fixes there. Obviously the big one is the optimized texture sizes. Anything that has optimization is obviously a positive. Removing that little flicker thing that happens when you fast travel from one side to the other, that's a big one. That was hard on the eyes in some places, especially if it took a little bit too long to like load in. You would have like multiple flickers in a row, and that could definitely cause some problems for some people. So yeah, some good little adjustments for it in the graphics there. So just keep on keeping on, and Questline doing their stuff as always. We got some audio fixes now. They fixed the missing and broken VOs for some NPCs. Oh wow, we got a whole list of them here. Okay, we got Egil, Self, Lethiri, Steger, Ivor, Lyra, Heled, Ingvi, King Arthur himself, Flurna, Kjell, Barlam, Thudmother, Raffen, Heiko, Galahad, Surfast, Darvanher, and Turtar. Wow. Well, there's quite a few. That is something that's popped up here and there. There's been some like missing voiceovers, or like a voiceover that just kind of cuts off right at the end before it actually completes. A lot of the time that's just like a timer that they have inside of that like voiceover transition. So the character will start talking and then the timer runs out. But if they haven't completed their whole voice line yet, it's usually just a small change that they need to do. And then obviously any of the missing ones that just didn't get connected properly. Oh, nice to see that they fixed those up. The broken voiceovers are definitely something that pulls your immersion out. So good fix there. They've added audio to the Eldritch Reaver generic. Okay. Eldritch Reaver. I've got one of those, yeah. They changed the explosions audio volume levels. Interesting. Fixed the bear audio. Not sure what was wrong with it. I've fought quite a few bears. I thought they sounded pretty good, but they added audio to the Frostbitten Warrior female and Tier 5 skeleton one-handed. Okay. And change the zombie attack volume level. Hopefully they're not going to be moaning in your ears anymore. Remove the duplicated line of maggot during one of the story interactions. Cool. It's a voiceover changes, added a little bit of audio adjustments, obviously fixing some of those levels for like the zombie and the explosions. Yeah, so it's good audio fixes in this patch as always. And for the localization updates, they fixed the incorrect display of characters in fonts that support Cyrillic script. Okay, good. Localization is something that's very important for any game that wants to expand out into as many markets as possible. Tainted Grail and the team over at Questline, and they've done such a great job with a lot of the localization. The game is available in many languages, so it's really cool to see that they're still continuing to support that. I've actually seen people, especially in the Steam discussions, that have actually praised the team for how good their translations are too. You know, a lot of the time, some companies will kind of like skirt the line and they'll cheap out a little bit and just kind of get someone who knows the language but doesn't know it that well. So it's good to see that they've continued holding to that standard of quality that they've always expected with the rest of the game. Right, and finally on to the miscellaneous changes. Take a look here. They fixed Niante holding a comically large piece of paper in her house. Okay. The funny bugs, obviously. So she should be holding a regular sized piece of paper now. Added more NPC interactions to the Ulfer barracks. All right. Fixed the interactability of fireplaces in some dungeons. Should be able to cook in more areas, hopefully. The buried chest in Mountain Ice Cave is now diggable. Okay. They fixed the smuggler's dagger description. Properly display the critical damage increase when upgrading the item. Okay. So it was upgrading, it just wasn't showing on the stat display. Okay. Changed loot in the shrine cellars. Repaired the first mist gate in King's Threat dungeon. Now it should block you until after the fight. Okay. Broth no longer gives bread instead of broth. That's just a funny bug. The thing. Do you like broth? Well, here's bread instead. Fair enough. Well, now if you want some broth, you can get some broth. Added a treasure chest to the rune towers in Kunat. Cool. More loot. And crafting and blacksmithing. Pressing the selection button again on an already selected recipe or item now jumps to the ingredients/gems. So that's specifically for the gamepad. So if you're playing on console, that just makes crafting a little bit easier for you navigating through those menus. And they removed unnecessary interactions with decorative flower pot. Obviously a little fix for your own personal house when you're doing some decorating and stuff like that. So very cool. So overall, some pretty good changes, especially in the technical side. I'm seeing some really nice stuff, obviously fixing a bunch of those like unlimited loading screens and a lot of the optimization issues that we saw. A few of like the quest lines that would break and whatnot. Very cool to see that they're still working on those. Obviously there's plenty of work still left to do. The game it's a great game. There's a ton to do in it, and obviously we're gonna find bugs all over the place as we continue playing here. There's gonna be lots of stuff that the devs were not expecting anyone to do, and it's gonna pop up. So make sure you just keep on playing, keep on breaking that game, and keep on reporting those bugs. Of course, like I said before, you can join over on the Discord. That's the best place to report bugs to them. But you can also use the Steam discussions page, and there's a little bug section in there. You can report your bugs there. And I believe that the in-game bug reporting is working properly now, so it's still a little bit limited, but obviously Discord is the best place to do it. So, all right, I think that's everything for today. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate you hanging around with us and hanging out with us for this one. What did you guys think of the new update for Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon version 1.04? What's your favorite change? And did you see something in there, or have you seen something for a bug that didn't get fixed yet? Let me know down in the comments section below. Of course, make sure you follow us over on Twitch and Kick. We're going to be playing Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon, and continuing the quest for greatness with SASS, the Shovel Knight. We're going to be playing that tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is usually when we end up playing most of our games. So if you haven't yet, follow on Kick, follow on Twitch. Also, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. We're trying to hit 500 subscribers before the end of the year. And if you want to keep up with everything that's SASS, make sure you hop into the Discord. We like chit chat and goof around. I'll get a little time over there. And I obviously post all of my stream times and everything like that, and new videos that are going to be coming out. So hopefully we will see you there. That's all for us today, folks. This has been another SASS Gaming News update for Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon, version 1.04. Thank you all for watching. I hope that this was entertaining, if not educational for you. We will see you all next time. Happy hunting, survivors.